Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click that like, share, notification. Go below the video on YouTube in description. There's a little arrow that expands it. There's a link for Patreon. You can email me. You can follow me on social media. Or you can even buy a t-shirt. Alright. Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. Infinity Draw. The infinity symbol is formed by a figure 8 on its side and symbolizes endlessness. In numerology, 8s represent manifestation. We're an infinite spirits here on a temporary journey in body, and our soul timeless, limitless, and eternal. We manifest our reality and draw to us experiences and people that are in alignment with our consciousness. The infinity spread can give you insight into the hidden and unconscious aspects and layers of a particular issue, situation, or relationship, helping you to understand the infinite nature of your evolution, both as a spirit and as a human being. So the first card, up here on the top left, is the card represents what is hidden in February for humanity of 2020. What is hidden in February of 2020 for humanity? Emergence. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Emergence can be described as the process of coming into being, the arising of something that wasn't there before. When referring to personal development and growth, the emergence of a grander expression of ourselves is often a result of extensive inner work and deep release. In order for real personal growth to happen, we have to be willing to let go of existing belief systems, frameworks, and labels that define and limit us. Recognizing potential can take us on an exciting inner journey of discovery and integration. From this place of openness and discernment, we can truly unfold and emerge as a new human being. The deep and rich blue at the core of this activation represents the drive for clear expression. The purple signifies the insights that come directly from our connection to Source and that are now available to be expressed. And the yellows and oranges indicate the creativity and power with which we can do so. Try this. Take a breath and close your eyes for a moment. What was your "when I grow up I want to be" declaration? Did you realize this childhood dream? What other aspects of yourself would you like to give birth to? Are there any new aspects emerging that you have never expressed before? Keep a journal so you are aware of your growth. Alright, next. Represents the contemplation. What represents the contemplation for humanity in February of 2020? change. The frequency of change supports our ability to gracefully dance with the forever changing nature of reality, both inward and outward, so that we can appreciate the sweet release of the old and the birth of the new. Change is the only constant we can count on. Like the seasons, everything comes and goes in cycles. The ebb and flow, the day and night, the death and rebirth. Good times are followed by challenging times, followed by weird times, followed by ecstatic times. Nothing stays the same for long. Like itself demands movement and change to perpetuate itself. Change is represented by the turning of a cycle or a wheel, showing us the forever changing nature of everything in the universe. In fact, the very concept of the universe is changing, and we are slowly accepting that a multiverse might be a more appropriate description. How we handle this constant change depends on where the center of our awareness lies. When we are deeply rooted in our own core, in our heart, at the center of the circle, the movements of change affect us less when we are focused on the outward parts of ourselves. The outer parts of the circle. As on a spinning wheel, the closer we are to the center, the steadier everything is. The transparent red square that partially covers the wheel is our perception of our form-based, physical world, which appears to be solid but is really only another layer of reality. The lights on the corners remind us of our ability to reach beyond the illusionary three-dimensional boundaries at any time we choose. From the center, 5 beautiful flowers emerge, slowly flowing outward. Or is it the other way around? Are the flowers emerging from the edges of our awareness into our center? In numerology, the number 5 is associated with change, and these flowers represent the beautiful potential for new life and possibilities to grow from each new moment, even in the midst of seemingly chaotic change. Take a moment. Go inside yourself and look at your life. Do you move easily with change, or do you resist it? How have you changed since last year? How about since yesterday? What exciting new experiences have these changes brought you? What are you excited about changing next? Alright, next card shows insights related to the emotional world. What are the insights of the emotional world for humanity in February of 2020? Fertility. The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. When the long, dark days of winter finally give way to the arrival of a new season, all of existence responds in glorious expression. The voices of songbirds fill the air. A hint of green appears on trees and plants, and people walk with a little more bounce in their step, a smile on their faces. Spring is a time of fertility when all of existence is bursting with the potential of new life, a time of expansion and promise. We see it all around us in the outer world, and we feel it inside us in the inner world. It feels like a grand yes is breathed over us and is into us from everywhere. Usually fertility refers to the ability to produce offspring. In the new energy, we are invited to consider fertility as the potential to grow something new and inspiring, an idea, a project, a new paradigm. The blues and greens in the image refer to the fertile grounds on which something new can grow. The clouds remind us of the spiritual aspects of the fertility concept, like the birth of a new consciousness. The squares represent the form-based reality of our earthbound life while we are here. The bright flower shape at the top represents our connection to Source. The sphere shape at the bottom our connection to Earth, equally as bright yet different. The beauty of flowers is a reminder of how wonderful life can be when expressed fully. Try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself and contemplate your fertility. What are you ready to give birth to? Are there any great and inspiring ideas that you have been holding inside? What is that you want to contribute to this world? Make a list of all the things you want to accomplish. Alright, next card represents the female aspect. What is the female aspect of humanity in February of 2020? Realization. The frequency of realization supports the eternal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. Realization happens on many different levels. Internally, we realize something when we become aware of that something as a fact. Externally, we realize something when we achieve or fulfill a dream or a desire. On a spiritual level, we refer to self-realization when we are able to unite body, mind, and spirit and soul to step into our fullest, most authentic expression of who we really are. The center of this activation draws us into an infinite inward journey through the layers of our awareness. The green indicates the presence of the heart, which provides the wisdom and stability needed on this frequently trippy path. The rich, bright blue coloring of the outer circles represents the ability and desire to express ourselves and to be realized in the outer world. The water represents the emotional realm, the heart's guidance system. And the orange and yellow stand for expression, creativity, and self-awareness. Try this. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Do you realize the magnificence of who you are and the scale of what you can create while you are here in body? This realization or belief that you are an expression of the creative source makes you a powerful manifester. What is that you want to accomplish? Alright. Next card represents the male aspect. What is the male aspect for humanity in February of 2020? Transition. The frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence in our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. Transition can be described as the passage from one stage to another. However deeply or mildly it impacts our lives, transition always implies change of some sort. And most of us are afraid of change. We want things to stay the same. We want to stay in the comfort zone we've created. Unfortunately, change is the one certainty in life that we can all count on. Change is necessary to allow room for the new to emerge and the old to pass. Change is necessary for growth to occur. Change is the fundamental universal law. Transition describes this process of change. A time when things are moving, morphing, and shifting. In the midst of this process, it's common for nothing to feel clear, comfortable, or safe. Being pushed and pulled from our existing state into one that is unfamiliar isn't easy. And the most feared transition of all is the one we all face eventually, death and the transition from our physical bodies to the world of spirit. Because we have so little understanding of the true nature of our existence and of our connection to the cosmos, we tend to fear death as a perceived ending. As in this activation, the snake is a traditional symbol for death and transition into many cultures and belief systems due to its perceived ability to be reborn many times during its lifetime by shedding its skin. Behind it, the background shows not only the grid of the flower of life, the connection with the earth plane, but also the Merkaba, a reference to our existential ability to traverse between layers of time and dimension. The colors indigo, violet, and magenta are indicators of our deep spiritual connection to the cosmos and the whole of existence, making any transition but a moment in an ongoing infinite journey. Try this. Take a moment to look at the transition image. How do you flow with the transition in your life? What transitions are you afraid of? Look at the last transition that you went through and remember the gifts that came because of it. What will your next transition be? Go outside and see how nature goes through a constant cycle of death and rebirth in order to continue life. Celebrate your transitions. And right above it, the card number 2, according to the layout, which I'll show you real quick. Here's the layout. 1, 2, 3, 4, or the other way around, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I got it wrong. But you can see it, right? So anyways, the transition and change are in the same side of the figure 8. They're like emergence, change, fertility, realization, transition. The next card shows insights related to the physical world. What are the insights to the physical world for humanity in February 2020? Third eye chakra. The frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition and our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. Purple's my favorite color. The flower of life is a geometric shape recognized by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect at the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportioned flower as a symbol. The flower of life represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and as spiritual beings to the whole. The color indigo is associated with the sixth or third eye chakra located in the middle of the forehead, just above the bridge of the nose. It is linked to our intuition, our insights, and our ability to see beyond three-dimensional reality into the inner world, so that the conscious can emerge with the unconscious. In many cultures, the color indigo has been traditionally associated with royalty, power, and wealth, as often assigned to our authoritarian figures, a higher consciousness that is based on a deeply rooted connection to Source, its sense of telepathy. Try this. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Bring your awareness to your forehead, the point between your eyebrows. Now silently ask the universe to bring to your awareness a thought, feeling, or image that would serve you right now in this moment. What comes up? You know, as I was reading, I was thinking of the Illuminati families reading I did in January. And how I figured out that 5 of the families are trying to jump ahead of the curve of this new awakening and step in front of the woke community, and not like the millennials' idea of woke with global warming and BS and whatnot. There may be some of that, but I'm talking UFO community, I'm talking conspiracy theory community. And then there's 5 families on the other side that are trying to continue with the old plan of the New World Order, the plan that's been around for hundreds of years. And then you have 3 families. I'm sorry, 2 families that are just indecisive and like going through their own personal, and they don't care either way. And then you have 1 family, the head of the table, that's leaning towards the new, not the old. And if you go back and watch that video, it got cut off. But I'll be doing another one on February 13th. So just hit that notification bell. Alright, next card. Shows insights related to the spiritual world. What are the insights to the spiritual world for humanity in February of 2020? Solar plexus chakra. Frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. The flower of life is a geometric shape, recognized by many cultures all over the planet. It consists of 13 equal circles that intersect at the middle of each circle, creating a perfectly proportioned flower. As a symbol, the flower of life represents the universe as a whole, as well as the harmony in which all the separate components of the universe work together. This beautiful pattern is often used to indicate our understanding of our connection as humans and as spiritual beings to the whole. The color yellow is associated with the third or solar plexus chakra. It is located in the area of the diaphragm below the breastbone and linked to our sense of self, our authority, and our personal power. It is the area of our personality and our ego. Yellow helps us to think clearly, increase our awareness, and stimulate our curiosity. It strengthens our vitality, our life force, and our energy. Its sense is sight. Try this. Go inside yourself for a moment and think about what is important in your life. Do you spend your days doing what you love? Do you feel satisfied? Do you feel you are an important part of this big puzzle we call life? Most of us have that one thing that we love doing and are really good at. What is your one thing? Well, my one thing, nobody wants to help me with or pay me for, so I'm doing what I can, and hopefully one day it'll pay out. If not, I'm just going to do what I love to do. Doesn't matter. The universe will provide. Alright, final card. We end with the card that represents the understanding. What is the understanding for humanity in February of 2020? Synergy. Frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious. never seen before, combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. The origin of the word synergy comes from working together. It can be described as a result of something that is greater than the simple sum of its individual parts. In a new energy, we can expect synergy to not only refer to a process with an outcome that is greater, but to one that involves uniting elements, energies, and even undefined attributes to create something that is completely new, different, and unexpected. This brings a wondrous element of magic to the whole process. In this activation, synergy is represented through the uncommon and rather bold choice of color combinations. By itself, pink represents the divine feminine attributes of love, nurturing, stillness, and receptivity, and the bright yellow-green color represents the new energy through clarity, beauty, and exhilaration. Purple brings in consciousness and insight, while the opening at the top represents the channel that allows input from a higher place. This communication is taken in, brought to the core, surrounded by loving pink and light, and transcended for release onto the earth plane in an appropriate energy that is in alignment with the consciousness there. The effects of this release ripple through the emotional planes, the water, the mental plane, the blue, and can even affect us on the DNA level, the coding in the background. Try this. Take a moment to go inside yourself and think about a situation when seemingly very different people come together and work towards a wonderful result. Now think about a personal goal of yours. Who can you bring together to help you accomplish your goal? What about a global goal? Can you think about it and do the same? So this actually ties to all the readings I did for each sign. I did tarot readings for all 12 astrology signs or zodiac signs, and this really resonates with all that. So we'll go over it again. We had emergence, first card. To recap, represents what is hidden, emergence. So you don't see the emergence of change, which represents the contemplation. Insights related to the emotional world, fertility, birth of something new, coming from all this confrontational. What's the next one? Relates to the emotional world, realization. Next card, feminine aspect. Fertility was emotional. Realization was the feminine aspect, or female aspect. And then transition is the male aspect. So transitioning from the masculine dominant negative aspect of it, because there's a positive aspect of males too. But people get confused because of all the hardships that came from the Dark Ages. And then we had physical world was insights related to the physical world, third eye chakra. So people are getting more psychic and communication as well. And then we had the insights related to the spiritual world was solar plexus. So the physical and the spiritual world are closely related there. We got third eye chakra and the solar plexus chakra. And then the last card, the understanding, synergy, working together. So, I see it everywhere. Some people don't like the change and they're stubborn, and they'll be the last ones to transition because they're stuck on the previous conflict from the negative masculine aspects of humanity, and need nurturing from the feminine, but positive feminine, not negative feminine, trying to rule and conquer, and doing the same thing that the negative masculine was doing. We don't need negative feminine thinking that's going to fix everything. We need positive feminine, nurturing.